It's yours as well. And if you haven't tried it, boy, I'll tell you what, do a little internet search on turmeric, and boy, oh boy, you're gonna want this in your life, especially in the way that Andrew does it. It's a real quick special. Before we do that, today's special, actually not one or two, but three today's specials at midnight. Choose the 30, 60, 120, or that 240, all with that free shipping and that extended holiday return policy. And Andrew, I'm telling you, this is an ingredient that's getting a lot of press right now, but once more, you are doing it in a way that no one else in the industry is.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I was just looking at the screen here. We have limited supply on this, but turmeric, again, is one of those ingredients that you need to do it properly. Certainly, cooking with turmeric, great idea, but turmeric spice contains about 1 or 2% of curcuminoids, the beneficial compounds. But at least when you cook with turmeric, it gets complexed with fat and it gets absorbable. And the key to turmeric is making it absorbable. A standard turmeric extract, and the highest potency extract is 95%. A standard turmeric extract at 95% is going to be almost completely not absorbable. And that's the sad fact of life with most turmeric supplements. But with us, we start with that 95% curcuminoid extract, and then we take a page out of an Indian and Asian cookbook, and we complex it with fat. We complex it with the fat we're going to talk about in a little while, phosphatidylcholine, because it's so important for our liver and for our brain. But that fat makes turmeric 3,000% more absorbable, the curcuminoids in it. There's another way to do it, and that's by adding black pepper spice. Black pepper spice can enhance the absorption of the curcuminoids, but black pepper spice is irritating to your digestive system, and also black pepper spice can interfere with the absorption of drugs. So that's not something we would ever contemplate offering. So the only way to, in my mind, enhance the absorption of turmeric is following the natural way. Again, Mother Nature's way, the natural way scientifically, combine it with a healthy fat, phosphatidylcholine.